Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Absolutely Not Podcast. I'm your host, Heather McMahan. How the hell are you? I hope you're doing fantastic. If you're watching this on the YouTubes right now, I'm in a pair of animal print overalls that I bought off the Tik Tok shop. The Tik Tok shop. I can't talk because I got Botox on the top of my lip.
That'll do it.
And I can't say my B's or P's or really S's, T's, or Q's. Okay.
Jesus Christ. Well, it's going to be a tough episode today, Heather.
I'm fine for my life. Okay. So I bought these at the Tik Tok shop for you.
Thank you.
It's a little bit country. It's a little bit TikTok. It's everything.
It's a little bit sexy.
It's a little bit sexy.
Because, I like to keep it sexy a little bit.
I know you like to keep it sexy. Danae, I'm so glad you're here. We became fast friends on the internet. And then I've seen you at award shows and all that jazz. And I said, bitch, you're on tour. You're absolutely crushing it. I had to have you into the Absolutely Not Podcast. How the hell are you?
I'm good. But what a full circle moment. I
know.
started following you back in like 2018, and I was living out in California.
That's right.
And I had no friends out there because nobody wanted to talk to me. Mm-hmm. The only person I could make friends with was my local barista. Mm-hmm. And so I knew I was your friend on the internet, but you didn't know me yet.
I didn't know you yet. But see, when I find good people, when I find you and I lean in and then I'm texting and then I'm like, hey, can I get a lock of your hair? You know,
yes.
I go full throttle pretty quick.
You're so friendly. Like that was one thing I was really nervous about because, when you see somebody on social media, you're like, are they going to be that cool in real life? Mm-hmm. And then when I met you at the Ryman, I was like, wait. It's even cooler.
Oh my God, you're so sweet.
They're like,
stop.
Well, seriously, because I've had
most people in this business are fucking terrible.
No, and as I'm learning, I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. And then I meet them, and I'm like, it's like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
But with you were so sweet, so friendly, and normal.
It's the normal. And you know what? Us normies, we got to stick together.
We do.
Because I was even being in this business for a while, I really thought, like they say, never meet your heroes. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You're gonna go to dinner with them.
But I have to say something.
Yeah, you can.
So after your Ryman show, we did the little after party.
Yes.
Not a little after party, girl. You went fucking buck wild. Okay. I don't even know why I said little. No, bitch. There was nothing little about that. I get drunker than Cooter Brown at this after party and come up to you and I'm crying and I'm like, Heather, you got me through some tough shit with my mama. I was living out in California, and you were like, and I literally in that moment, I was like, she's never, ever going to like another video of mine.
No, no, listen, I'm an empath. I'm a Pisces, so I can receive stuff like that. I was actually taking it in. So I wasn't going cross-eyed. I'd also probably had 55 Bud Heavies and a cigarette, so I may have actually disassociated for a second.
I know I was like, my mama, and you're like, who, your mom? And I was like, she don't talk to me no more because I'm a homosexual. And you're like, oh God. Anyways, I thought about that for a long time. So when you invited me to be on the podcast, it reassured me that I'm not a weirdo. And I love you.
You're not a weirdo. Let me tell you this shit. I'm sure you're getting this now too, because let's back up real quick. So for those of y'all who are just tuning in, Danae, you're such an incredible comedian.
Thank you.
You've really taken the internet by storm. You kind of popped off, I would say, on TikTok first.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, and it's a weird world. Like some of us are Instagram girlies and then we try and claw our way through TikTok. You really popped off on TikTok and I mean, you're crushing on both, but now you're doing a huge comedy tour and you're also known for your comedic music.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been weird because TikTok scared me really bad because Trump said that China was out to get us and I wasn't trying to. I was like, look, I gotta keep China off my phone for a little while,
right? And
then I realized it was a hoax. So I got on there during the pandemic, and then when the pandemic hit, I started posting all these prank phone calls.
Yeah,
and I
was
like, I fucking love this.
Yeah,
and I found my people.
Yeah,
I will say Instagram for me is a little harder. I hear a lot like of the opposite where a lot of people say TikTok is really judgmental. Instagram is the opposite for me. Like Instagram's I get a little scared to post certain content.
Right.
Because I feel like I'm going to get backlash, whereas TikTok's like the wild, wild west.
It is. It's funny though, because when you're doing the pranks, everybody's in on it. When I post, I still get where people don't, like the younger kids don't understand it's sarcasm.
Right.
They don't understand irony or satire at all.
Right.
And there are days where I just have to let it roll and I don't even look at comments. But then I also posted a bit about Roe versus Wade, on on Instagram the other day, the day of like the election, and literally people are in Instagram. People are in a full-on fucking brawl in the comments, and I haven't even looked. Everyone's like, "You need to know this is popping off. We've got men, women fighting," and I was like, "I'm throwing my hands up. Y'all fell for the clickbait."
I know, and literally, if I know I'm going to post something, maybe not controversial, but like something that is like on the fringe, I can't look at the comments.
Can't.
I'm just like, look, I put my work out there. I know where my joke was. Maybe they don't get it. And then I let myself, at 1 o'clock in the morning, finally open up the can of worms. And I'm like, why the fuck did I do that?
And then you're laying in a Holiday Inn by the airport after a show, eating chicken tenders off your titties. And you're
Literally.
like, this is a dark life we live.
Do you know how hard it is for me to eat chicken tenders off my sternum bone?
Yeah.
Like, they're constantly falling off, but
Yeah.
I manage. But yeah, I can't look at the comments. It really infuriates me. Only on certain videos.
Okay.
On other videos, I'm like, this is awesome. They get the joke. But on the prank phone calls, it's the worst because people are like, these are hard working minimum wage workers and you are scrutinizing them while they're at work. And I'm like, I tell them it's a joke after.
Yeah.
And they fucking love it.
Also, we need to bring back prank phone calls. Okay, I used to love a prank phone call. If it's innocent, if we're not saying like your whole family's died. No, we're saying, hey, catch your refrigerator, it's running.
Or we're calling funeral homes like, hey, y'all took my Aunt Tammy's dentures out right as y'all were burying her, and I had to get 4 teeth pulled, and I need them back.
Exactly.
I mean, what's so bad about that, Heather?
What's bad? You know what? And we're all going to die. And you know who probably doesn't get enough laughs? People at a funeral home.
I'm just trying to bring cheer to the folks.
Thank you. And that's what people don't understand on the internet. We are joyful people trying to bring giggles and fun to the world, and they're trying to stifle us.
And you learn new things, like when I called that taxidermist and told him I wanted him to stuff my Rottweiler, and he was willing to do it.
Yeah, I do have a question about that.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever had people call you back after a prank? Angry and or like, hey, can I get an autograph nude? You know what I mean? Like, have we had any like little stalker fans once they get a taste of that fame?
The taxidermist guy, he actually called me back to thank me, and I'm not tooting my own horn. I didn't know it was going to play out this way, but he called me back because I told him it was a joke after, because I didn't want him to be waiting up that I had a guy, coming with a Rottweiler frozen in a deep freezer in the bed of my truck. He said that was normal practice and that I did the right thing by freezing the Rottweiler. But
that's good to know.
yeah, so if you are looking to get a dog frozen and stuffed, you really do need to put it in the deep freeze.
Oh, goodness. Like a Yeti deep freeze?
Like, yeah, whatever the dog needs. But he called
I got Frenchies. They'll fit in a Yeti.
Yeah. He did call me back and he was like, hey, I just want to tell you thank you so much. After the prank phone call went viral, he got around $7,000 worth of business. So
fantastic.
So that made me feel good. So now if like they, seem like they're into the prank phone call, I'll tag the business in it.
Right.
Just in case people are like, oh, they're a respectful business owner. I'm going to use them.
I love that.
Yeah.
See, it's y'all on the internet, shut the fuck up, okay? It's all fun and games.
We're doing the Lord's work out here.
We've always been doing the Lord's work, and I'm hoping that when the rapture happens in about 40 days that we get taken up first, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
My ass is going to get left here. I already
You
feel
think?
it. Yeah.
Did you watch the Left Behind series as a kid? Because
scared the shit out of me.
Shit out of me. It was Kirk Cameron, always screaming. I would always imagine, because I flew a lot as a kid because my parents traveled a ton. I always imagine myself in the plane, and then all of a sudden, no one else is on the plane.
I met his ass at the Birmingham airport, and he was so sweet. So that kind of lowered my anxiety. But we did these things as kids. I don't know if y'all did them. I'm sure you did in the South. But they were called judgment houses.
No.
And so they happened around Halloween. And so instead of my mom and dad taking me to a scary house or a haunted house, they took me to the local church where the church was set up like you started as a drunk driver.
No.
And here you are, they get you on the school bus, and you're all just going around, and the school bus driver's drunker than Cooter Brown, and then all of a sudden, the bus starts rocking, and you just hear a loud bang. So then they take you off the school bus, and if you're not saved, they walk you through hell.
Is hell like a corn maze?
No.
When it's like on fire?
Hell is in the pulpit, and the devil's walking around, and he's touching you, and he's breathing on you, and he's like, you're going to hell, you're here. And then they tell you, now we're going to take you to another room, and you have the ability to get saved or not. And if you don't want to get saved, we're sending you back to hell. But if you chose to get saved in that moment, then they take you through heaven and they have an organ playing and angels are flapping their wings. And
I'm clutching my pearls right now.
And as an 11-year-old, by the time I got out to the car, I didn't even want to listen to hip hop music anymore.
Wait, also, are you in costume? Are you dressed like
No.
like a 101 Dalmatians?
No, my parents were just like, we're taking you here, just wear your normal clothes. And I'm like, what's going on, And hell scared me.
Hell, I mean, it was very scary. I went to a very judgmental, super Church of Christ school from kindergarten through 12th grade. I mean, we were not taught sex education. We had no idea what the fuck was going on until we figured out what the fuck was going on.
Right.
You feel me?
Like, I didn't even know you could get pregnant as long as you kept your shirt on. Like, that's how I was raised. We didn't talk about anything.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, if I keep my shirt on,
I can't.
There's no way I'm going to get inseminated.
We had a girl get pregnant in our high school, and they literally told us, the rumor was that the guy jerked off at home, drove over to her house, and then like literally went to second base, like felt up a titty, and that's how she got pregnant.
Shut the fuck
And then
up.
we all believed it for a while. And I remember my best friend Mary Beth and I, we were in like sophomore year of high school. I was like, something about this isn't adding up. You know what I mean? Something about this isn't adding up.
My boy, because I had this boyfriend in high school. I know that's really surprising, but when we would dry hump and he had mesh basketball shorts on, I was like, we can't do it tonight. I'm sorry. You've got mesh basketball shorts on. I need you to wear sweatpants.
It could leak out. You
It
don't
could.
know.
And I had a softball scholarship. Okay.
You couldn't mess that up.
No, Heather, I
No,
couldn't.
you couldn't. You know what? You can, as a young woman from Alabama, saved in the blood of Christ, you cannot be dry humping
No.
the star football player
No.
through mesh shorts when you got to go to the University of Alabama and play softball.
Literally, I wasn't going to screw my life up all because he decided to wear no underwear and mesh shorts.
See, I was in the theater department, so I was dry humping a lot of gay men, so they weren't coming regardless.
I'm like my Uber Eats driver. They never fucking come. I have had to cancel 4 Uber Eats this past week. None of them want to work anymore, Heather. That's a problem with America. Nobody wants a job.
Listen,
You're like, how do we get back on track?
how do we get the train has gone off the tracks? I'll tell you what, though, I feel like doing Uber Eats would be kind of a little chill, a little relaxing. There are days where I would like to do nothing but drive around in my car, not speak to anybody.
Truly.
And I love bringing gifts. My giving love language is I love to give gifts.
Yeah.
So I think I would thrive at that.
Well, I have a question, though. Are you a 20% Uber Eats tipper?
Absolutely. More.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I would just, I'll put in my own amount. $10, $15, whatever it is.
Love that.
Because I also worked in the service industry for a really long time.
Yep.
And I don't have like a fake name on Uber Eats. It's literally my name, my address. I'm like, I don't want these motherfuckers pissed. Like, this fat ass ordered 8 plates of nachos and tipped me $5. No.
Yeah. I did have a lady, she saw my name and I put leave it at my door and she was bound and determined we were going to get some face-to-face contact. So, it turned into some selfies and I looked like a hot mess.
Yeah.
But I thought about changing my name, but yeah, I don't know. My first name's Kendall. And
I could never see you as a Kindle.
me either.
Yeah.
Danae's kind of tough, though. Nobody ever gets it right.
When did Danae come into play?
When I was 6 months old, my mom.
Okay.
Mom,
This is the most Southern thing. They named you Kindle, but then all of a sudden you're like Boo Bear. It's
Well,
like, make it make sense.
my mom doesn't like my dad's mom, my grandmother. And my grandmother picked the name out Kendall. And they got into a fight after announcing me in the newspaper, your little baby picture. Ken and Denise just had Kendall Danae. And so my mom decided that to spite my grandmother, she was going to change my name when I was 6 months. So
That is the most bad bitch thing I've ever heard.
she did it.
Also a very Southern, your dad's very Southern?
Oh, yeah.
Very Southern thing for what is up with these mother-in-laws that come in? It is not your child. Back the fuck up.
My grandmother proposed to my mom.
What do you mean?
For my dad. She was like, hey, y'all been together for 2 years? I got you a wedding dress. We're going to do it at the local Baptist church. Are you free in a couple of weeks? And my mom was like, well, if it works for Ken, it works for me.
It's because Granny knew that they were humping in the mesh shorts.
100%.
She knew baby Danae was coming
She
around
said,
the
Danae
corner.
is coming here, and we got to get it done.
Really?
Yeah, so she proposed to my mom. So I think I guess that makes her, kind of bisexual in a way, but yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So are your parents still together?
Oh, no.
No. Okay.
No. I went to college August 20th, and they filed for divorce August 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are we on speaking terms? Or like, how are you bouncing around for the holidays? What does that look like?
So
for
I
you?
have a wonderful relationship with my dad. I don't have a great relationship with my mom. I haven't spoke to her in 6 years.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, my mom.
Families are tough.
Yeah, she's
Families
not.
are tough.
She's not about the homosexual lifestyle. You know.
Okay, this is why you were crying to me after my show at the Ryman.
Yeah,
Okay,
now it's making.
now
okay.
it's making sense.
Oh, I never even elaborated on that.
No, you just were crying.
So in in 2018, was the year I found you on Instagram, and I was living out in California with my ex, and it was my first openly gay relationship.
Right.
And when I came out, my mom didn't want anything to do with me, and so when I found you, because I felt so isolated from the Southern culture, and I love living in the South. I'm as Southern as they come.
Right.
I was just really lonely. So yeah, when I found you, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I have a piece of home with me, because you just really leaned into the Southern culture, and I was also going through that with my mom. So
I'm so
it
sorry.
was nice. Well, thank you.
I mean, listen, families are tough. I deal with it in a different sense of like, my in-laws hate me. And it's like you finally at some point just realize you can't please everybody. Right. You got to do your thing. And I'm sure it's heartbreaking and it's nuanced and there's layers to it. But at some point you're like, you know, you just got to live your life.
100%.
Isn't it wild, too? These old fucking boomers, dude. I'm telling you what, crotchety motherfuckers.
I'm like, when has my homosexual lifestyle ever hurt you? Like, it's not like we're in there just scissoring on the kitchen counter, which I know we want to talk about that. I've never scissored a day in my life. That is a fucking fake lie, Heather.
Scissoring is
a lie. It is a lie. Nobody does that.
Can I be honest with you? I don't even know how you'd hold yourself up. That's a lot to
try
and figure out. You got to hold yourself. No, that's a lot of work.
That's like going to McDonald's and asking for a salad or asking a hooker for a hug. Like, what's the point of that? Like, you wouldn't do that.
I'll tell you why. Because straight porn has ruined it for everybody. You got these girlies who are not actually gay women.
100%.
They're over here doing the flips and tricks for the straight boys.
Yep.
And so they have a different idea.
100%. It's like when they cast a guy in an athletic movie and he doesn't have the right form to throw, so he's faking it. And you're like, that is not how that should look.
Right.
Women that are lesbians, we don't do that. I just want to make that clear one more time. We don't do that. All right.
What do you do? No, I'm kidding.
Well, anything but that.
Anything but scissoring. Well, that's good to know. And listen, this is why I started this podcast.
Thank you, Heather.
Because I want to educate the youth, the middle of that, the elders, all of them. That we're here to change the world.
The older I get, the more, like, my dad can't understand. He there's two buckets for him. You're either gay or you're straight.
Okay.
And so I'll tell him, I'll be like, hey, this girl, I think she's really cute. Like, I feel like we have great chemistry. And he's like, is she gay? And I'm like, well, I think she's just fluid. And he's like, I don't understand. And it's like his head's going to combust. He can't.
Yeah. Well, for guys, do you think it's a little different, though, on the spectrum of gayness for men? I feel like if you're sucking dick, you're gay.
I think so, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think, I really do. Like, I feel like 9 out of 10 men, if they're going to slob a knob, they're probably only slobbing knobs.
That's what I figure.
Whereas women, I feel like there's more of a complexity there. Like I told you before the podcast started, I do believe I'm very gay. But I also, and I'm not saying I would go out and date a guy, but I am saying, like, if I found a guy that I like to go hunting with, I like to go fishing with.
Hell yeah.
And he had a nice ass and a set of thick thighs.
You could put your head between them.
I don't know, brother. I don't know, brother. I'm not trying. There's a part of me that's like, there's no way you would.
Now, what if you got a guy who you like to go hunting and fishing and all those things with, but then he wanted you to peg him?
Like, does that mean have sex with him?
That means you have to strap it on and do it to him. Dominate him.
No.
No, you don't want to be in a deer stand.
No.
Pegging a guy named Bruiser.
No. Oh my God, that sounds like my worst. I don't even really want to peg women. I like to have coffee talks with them in the morning. I like for them to pick my outfits out.
Okay, so here's the thing. I love my husband, but I do feel like if years later on down the road, after he chokes on like, I don't know, a Buffalo, at a Buffalo Wild Wings or something, I'm done. Like the men are exhausting.
Yeah.
Dating is exhausting. I would love to meet a nice woman. Again, I've never had a sexual experience with a woman. We stay in our separate bedrooms.
Yeah.
You can bring home whoever you want from the country club, the tennis pro, the golf pro. I don't care, no judgment.
Right.
But we have all of our dogs together and we just vibe and go on vacations.
Honestly,
Life partner, really.
I'm looking for that.
Okay.
Maybe not bringing other sexual partners home.
Okay.
But and we don't have to touch. We could just watch ESPN in the morning, drink a hot cup of coffee.
I love that.
Do some gardening.
Oh, I love that.
And please be able to style me because I do need help with that.
So that's where you need help.
Yeah, I need help with the makeup and the styling and...
Is this your uniform? Or
This is
it
my
always,
uniform.
It's always black tee.
Always black.
Black hat.
And that's not because I like it. I just know I can't go wrong with it.
Okay.
So
I wear that same uniform when I'm on the road. That's all I wear in the airport. And but then I have to have I really femme it up for stage.
Totally.
But that's just my style.
and I love it on you.
Thank
It
you.
looks
I
great.
appreciate it. Are you flirting with me
Yeah,
right now?
I am. Do you want to go garden?
I love to garden. I got what do they call it? A black thumb though? I kill everything.
Yeah, I do too.
I kill everything. I've killed pets on accident before. It's not great. I'm doing the best I can.
I know. I had to kill. Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but I had to kill a raccoon the other day. It had the mange.
Oh, but when they're rabid, and you can tell because they look like drunk sailors trying to cross, trying to cross the street, and you're like, that thing's gonna bite another thing.
he was beating his head up against the concrete.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, listen, we're also from the country. I say that I have never lived in the country.
Well, he clawed my dog. And
fuck that.
Yeah, he clawed my dog, and he had all these open wounds all over him, and he kept beating his head against the concrete. And I was
he
like,
was demon possessed.
we got to get him out of here.
You know what? They probably should have had that in your hellscape that you had to do before Halloween. It was like, what do you do? It was like what would Jesus do? And you've got a mangy raccoon in the corner. It's like, you got to choke him out for the Lord,
You got to put him in a cow catcher and send him home to be with Jesus. Truly.
So you went to Alabama and you played softball. And you were like
Go figure, yeah.
Go figure. How did the family not see the writing on the wall?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, even my babysitter was gay. Like y'all influenced me to be a homosexual.
There you go.
So I blame it on my mom for that.
Miss Brenda came over and watched me, and
Her name was Sarah, and she
Sarah.
was so hot. And I used to prank phone call her all the time just because I wanted to hear her voice, Heather. Yeah.
Where is she now? Do we know? Probably married to a man.
I think she probably, yeah, she's bisexual. Definitely has a boyfriend. No, I think she's actually married to a woman.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she stuck it out.
Good for her.
Yeah, she stuck it out for sure.
Now, you went through a tough breakup recently, and we don't have to get into it at all, but did you ask any of your friends, your straight friends, where you're like, is it harder breaking up with a woman than it is breaking up in a straight relationship, do you think?
Not my friends, but my dad. My dad's like, let me tell you something.
Oh, hell yeah, daddy.
Tell you something. You get in bed with the wrong one, they'll fuck your life up.
They sure will.
And I'm on the phone, and I'm like, I'm still deciding if because we were with each other for 8 years.
Right.
We were married for almost 3. And so I was getting a lot of advice from my dad of like, I know this is something that needs to happen, but like, do you have, like, can you guide me through this? Because my dad's divorced once from my mom, and all my dad, he never would give me advice. He would just say, you need to listen to your gut. You need to really, nobody knows Danae better than Danae.
True.
You need to pray about it, and you really need to find clarity before you make a decision. So, I'm sure a lot of people on TikTok, because like we talked about, a lot of people have a lot of opinions, especially when you're willing to put your life out there.
Yeah.
And that was probably the toughest part of the whole thing outside of the actual divorce itself, was having to hear strangers on the internet dissect every video you've ever uploaded and like, this is where it went wrong.
Make assumptions.
Like,
bitch, you don't know shit.
Yeah. And you know how social media is, like, yes, you show aspects of your relationship, but you don't show the intimate moments.
Right.
So they're only basing things off of the context clues that you've given them. And I absolutely love my audience. But it was a lot of outsiders that had found me, that had come in, that do like the sleuth pages and like that do the gossip pages.
That's the bizarre side of TikTok, because once you see that little sentence in the search bar that says like Danae's getting a divorce,
literally,
all of a sudden somebody who's never met you before, has never followed you, has never seen a prank phone call or any of your stand up is like, I'm on it.
This one chick and her podcasting friend, they did an hour and 30-minute long episode, and they said Mandy the comedian and Danae the horse lover, and I'm like, y'all don't even know who you're talking about. I'm like, y'all need to get your fucking facts straight before you sit down for 90 minutes and dissect two people's divorce.
Do you ever respond to any of this?
No, I'm the only response in the entire situation, which was hard.
Yeah. Because you're biting your tongue.
Literally, there was one video that I did, and my stepmom was holding the camera, and she was talking in the background. And somebody said, Danae's got a new woman. She ran off and found somebody. The only comment I ever made was, that's my stepmom.
Yeah.
Because loyalty to me, and like all my friends know this, loyalty to me is everything, because I've seen what someone running around on somebody can do to somebody in a relationship. And so for me, loyalty is my biggest thing. And so when they triggered me and said that, I was like, I've got to come back and take ownership that was my stepmom. Not some broad I picked up on Broadway, okay?
Listen, TikTok will make you spiral. I ended up buying this book because I take a lot of gummies at night. And I mean, hence I bought these overalls. Also, I'm a little cosplay today.
I love it.
I saw them last week. I knew you were coming in. I was like, I'm getting the animal print overalls for Danae.
I love it.
But I ended up buying this book. It's called like The Art of Power or How to Gain Power. Everybody on TikTok was talking about it. So I'm driving back from Mississippi. Jeff's driving in the Tahoe. And I start reading it. And the first chapter is like, trust no one. Your friends are not your friends. Be friends with your enemies. And I'm reading this book and I'm doing 3 pages in and I'm like smelling Jeff a little bit. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, are you my friend or are you my enemy? He's like, I'm your husband and I adore you. What the fuck? I was reading like a manifesto, like a sociopath.
No, bro, it'll make you, when you go through something like that, it'll make you question everything.
Yeah.
Because you're like, is this person loyalty to me? Like, are they loyal? Are they a good person? You know, and it made me really dive into this like really nasty place for like a month that I did not like. And I kept praying. I was like, God, take the bitterness out of my body. Because bitterness, that's
poison.
The worst feeling in the, oh God. Bitterness is awful. And it wrecks your entire day, your mood, your aura, everything.
I had that towards a relationship in my life, and I finally one day I just let it go. Yeah. I worked in it through therapy, and I said, I living well is your best revenge.
Truly.
Period.
Truly.
That bitterness is a wild feeling too. And envy is a wild feeling. Yeah. But bitterness, when you're like, I can't control what other people feel about me, whatever they think about me. I just got to keep my head down and do what brings me joy, what brings you joy.
Truly. Because that was the thing. It wasn't like bitterness towards Mandy. It was bitterness towards all of these people's opinions about me. And I know I have my faults, but one thing I've always tried to live by is like do right by other people. Right. And when other people were like just coming in left and right, all that bitterness just like ate me up.
And also on the internet, you can kind of feel gaslit by your own following. There's some days where I'm like, wait a minute, you know, it really can put you in a tailspin. Totally. And people don't see the DMs. I mean, for 99% of the time, I'm sure it is all positive. But man, when you get that one DM where somebody just says the most vile shit to you, you're like, you really sit in your car in a McDonald's parking lot and you're really contemplating like, what am I doing?
I know. And I try not to, maybe out of pride, I don't ever talk about them on social media because I know it's going to like make
me either. I'm like,
1,000 times worse. But yeah, there's times where you get one and they say the right thing. Yeah. They say the one thing that you struggle with. Oh, yeah. And when you get it, oh, you just, you know, I'm like, I'm going to text them back right now. I'm going to light them up. And then I'm like, okay, fuck, delete. Because then I have to remind myself, people will screenshot your shit. Yeah. And then make you out to look like this vile human being. But that's the tough part, is not responding. I screenshot it, and then I print them out. And then I leave them in a little folder. And when these hoes come to my meet and greet, I'm like, hold on, what was the name? Oh, yeah. Rebecca from Palm Beach. Hold on. Yeah. I believe on November 3rd, you told me to fuck myself. My neck looks droopy, and you don't like Jeff's neck beard. So, you know, I will literally be like, receipts. Because I it has to build. I don't know how you are when it comes to like anger. I'm cool, chill. And then I motherfucking snap. snap. Like,
which is not healthy. It's probably better just to emote your feelings every day.
100%. And I've had a lot of head injuries, so that's my
softball.
So I really blame that part of me on those head injuries. Like I went to this fucking brain clinic. I have to tell you about this.
Is this a place in Nashville?
No.
Oh,
this place is in Utah.
Okay. Ooh.
So this bitch reaches out to me and she's like, "Hey, a friend of mine said that you've had some head injuries. We'll have you out to this brain clinic." And in return, it'll be like a $20,000 thing, but you'll get it for like a certain amount,
right?
As long as you promote it.
Great.
So I'm fired up about it because I've always wanted to know like where my brain stood because I've had 4 really horrible head injuries. So I'm like, I want to know, like, am I gonna have Alzheimer's by the time I'm 50?
Real quick, I want to get into this, but is it specifically from softball? Like how was it? Concussions, like sliding into base?
Yeah. So the first one, I was 11. My dad was acting like a lunatic, and he was pulling me on an inner tube behind the boat. We hit a wave, and I hit heads with another girl, and it knocked me out cold. I went face down in the water, and my dad thought I was just being silly, and so he left me face down in the water for like 30 seconds, and then he realized I was knocked out cold. So he brought the boat around and they pulled me out of the water, and I was unconscious for like 5 minutes. Like, have absolutely zero memory of that. And he didn't know what to do, so he laid me down to take a nap, which is the worst thing you're supposed to do.
Also, there should be some sort of like redneck handbook. Like, if you go down to the lake and you get 2 girls on an inner tube, don't whip them around the cove too quick.
Yeah, because by God, she's going to be out cold. And then definitely don't put her ass to bed for 4 hours and let her sleep it off.
And don't give her beer when she wakes up to try and, numb the pain.
Literally. Dad was like, you want some aspirin? Another thing, you're not supposed to give aspirin because you got to know how long the headache goes.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, see, we are learning lessons on this podcast.
Don't go to sleep and don't take aspirin. We got to know what your baseline is.
All right.
The other really 2 bad ones were in softball.
Yeah.
I got my jaw knocked out of place. So my bottom jaw actually sits sideways because when it came back in and they reset it, it's reset wrong.
Do you get bad TMJ? Does it get
at,
locked up?
At nighttime, I grind like a motherfucker.
Me too.
And then the other one, I got hit in the temple and got knocked out and had a seizure on the field. Anyway, so...
Oh, my God. Jesus. I did not really mean to bring you through. I'm like, trauma dump right here, right now.
Truly. So I signed up for this brain clinic. And
Smart.
I get there, and they give me this MRI. And the lady doesn't know that I do comedy. She just thinks I do content creation. And so she gets my brain scan and she sits me down in this private room and she's like, it's not good. And I'm freaking out. I think that my brain is fried. Like got like 10 years of good life and then I'm going to be a vegetable. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? She goes, well, the first thing I see is your ability to come up with language. And I said, what do you mean by that? She goes, improv. And I was like, bitch, what? How funny? I was like, damn, how funny could I have fucking been had I not got licked in the head 3 times, I'm like, this is unfair to the people around me. So then I'm like, well, okay. Well, what's the second thing? She goes, memory. You have a really hard time memorizing things. I have a memory of an elephant.
All right.
Like, I can remember anything. And I'm like, and what's the last thing? Well, you trip a lot, I'm assuming. I'm like, no, I don't trip a lot.
You're solid as a rock.
Yeah, I'm like, brother, I'm good. So I was like, this is weird. So I start thinking none of that makes sense. So then immediately they put me into this 10-hour long therapy session to come up with language. And the first thing is the lady's like, I'm going to give you 12 words.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a 30-minute session. At the end of the 30-minute session, you're going to have to think of as many of those 12 words as you can think of.
All right.
When we get done, I remember 11 of the 12 words. And the woman is like, I've never seen one of our patients be able to do that. In fact, some of our nurses can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, and I can walk on my own 2 feet. So then
did she get the wrong results?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
So then we go and do a kumbaya with the 7 patients. And when I get in there, Heather, I'm not trying to make light of this, but it was an odd situation.
Was everyone a little,
One guy was so cross-eyed when he cried, tears ran down his back. And I asked him, I said, hey, brother, what happened to you? And he could not get the words out.
Okay.
With a simple question of like, what was your injury? He could not tell me what the injury was. The second girl, she goes, hello, my name is Helga. I come here from another country. If I do not get correct treatment, I am going to kill myself.
Okay.
Okay, so it was really devastating.
Okay.
And then they get to me, and they're like, Danae, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I'm like, hey, y'all, I'm Danae. I'm a stand-up comedian. I also do skits online and sketches. I'm married for 3 years to a beautiful girl. Yeah, that's anything else you guys want to know? And they're all like, how the fuck did she get invited to here? You know what I mean?
Can I tell you, though, a lot of people look at stand-up comedy as a mental illness.
It truly is.
There were many times where my parents were like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
You're funny, but how are you going to make money at this?
Right. So
Yeah.
maybe they actually didn't judge me too hard.
No, they didn't. Listen, this business is so hard, and when you can start to make a profit off of it, I mean, I know that my entire family is a real sigh of relief. Assholes are declenching, you know?
Right. And in that moment, I just remember thinking, like, I think I got scammed. And so I left after the first day. It was supposed to be a 6-day treatment. And I called them and said, hey, something doesn't feel right. Like, I'm going to leave. And they got really upset about it. So I did some further digging, and I won't disclose the name of the clinic or anything, but I did some further digging, and there's been multiple people come forward. So what's happening is that you're taking these vulnerable people where there's really, if you start to read into about brain health and stuff, there's really not much evidence to back what's going on with the brain. It's so underdeveloped in the sense of, like, we don't know anything about it. And so you take that and you mix it with people that can barely speak and have been kicked in the fucking face by a horse, and they're looking for some sort of help, and then you profit, and there's no insurance involved, so it's just straight cash. And so I left after the first day, and I was like, no, I am not going to advertise this because something is not sitting well, you know?
But I can tell that you're like me. If you slide my DMs with a decent sales pitch, I'm like, oh, you want me to go to a brain clinic? You want to put tinfoil on my head and feed me psychedelics and tell me what's wrong with me?
That would have been a better clinic, honestly.
I'm leaning in. Because in my sick, twisted mind, I'm like, material. I'm like, what's going to happen?
And brother,
I got 10 new minutes.
God knows when you're a comic.
Yeah.
He puts you in those situations. He's like, you need a new set next year. I'll give you 20 minutes in one right here.
Your ass is going to Utah.
Yeah, so I went.
So how's it been on, you're doing your first big tour. How has it been on the road? I mean, the shows look packed and I feel the energy from these shows, even just seeing it on the internet. But I mean, has it just been electric?
Dude, it's been euphoric.
Yeah.
Like stand up, I remember telling you at the Ryman, I was like, how do you have enough stuff to say for an hour? And you looked at me and you were like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I didn't even believe you when you said that. I was like, there's no way. And I ended up, when my agent reached out to me and was like, hey, we want to take a meeting with you, I was not doing stand-up. All I had ever done was a 4-minute open mic night at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So he sat me down at this boardroom with like 15 members. And
meetings are so intimidating.
They're so intimidating.
So uncomfortable.
And they looked at me and they're like, do you do stand-up? And I lied and said, yes. And he goes, okay, well, we're going to book you 5 shows. And I was like, oh, how long would my section be? And they were like, an hour. And so I went home and wrote an hour in 3 months and then did the first 5 shows, and I was hooked. I was like, this is all I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, there's nothing greater. I mean, you know, that first time is like the most massive dopamine hit you could ever have. And so I was just hooked, and thank God I could write a damn hour. Otherwise, it would have just been...
It'll make you feel crazy, too, because and then you'll write 2 hours, and then you'll just keep going. But this is what I will say at the beginning. Conserve all of your material. Because my first year, I went on the road. I was doing 90 minutes myself. I didn't have an opener. I was opening as a character for myself. Right. Some people didn't even know that it wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like, I was doing so much, and I've now learned, I'm like, I've got to conserve that energy.
Right.
Like, you're going to go out there. You're going to crush it. You're so fucking hysterical.
Thank you.
But conserve your energy, because I did too much at one point where I was like, because you're just so excited. I'm like, I'm finally getting this chance to perform and be on tour, and I love what I do, but I wanted people to come back, and you're only as good as your last gig.
Right.
But there were moments where I was like, I just did a 2-hour show and I need another hour.
Right. Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, how much can I come up with?
Yeah.
I know my first couple of shows when I was just really like, it was brand new. Hell, I was going 90 minutes. And then I realized, Danae, you got to save some material for next year.
Exactly.
And 90 minutes every night sometimes 3 nights in a row. That's a long time.
It's a long time. So have you had any really interesting fan interactions?
Heather.
Yeah.
The 56-year-old women.
Yeah, they're savage.
They're so horny.
Uh-huh.
Like,
oh, wow.
No, like they're so horny. Like, I'm not kidding you. They'll bring their husband to the show, and then they will kick the husband out of the picture and then whisper in my ear if I want to go get drinks with him. And be like, do you want to?
Yeah, do you want
just me and you? He doesn't have to come. And I'm like, what energy am I giving off? And I'm telling you, it's like every single show. They want to hang me up by the ceiling fan and shove anal beads up my butt. Like, they're the horniest group of women I've ever been around.
Yeah, it is wild. I remember one of my agents came to one of the very first year I started touring, because obviously I'm sure your audience is strongly female,
yes,
right? And it is a totally different dynamic, because a lot of us are finally, with these strong female followings, are finally getting to do stand up for the first time. And the reason I say that is, like, you know, a lot of these other female comics, they've always had to kind of like play to the male audience. And we were just like full force, like we're just doing it for the girls.
Right.
But I mean, my agent started doing like market research on everybody who's coming to these shows, and they're like, this is fucking crazy.
It's bananas.
It's bananas.
Yeah.
And I had to, on my first tour, and I don't know if you've had this yet, but I finally had to say, ladies, we need to have a chicken quesadilla before we come to the show, because y'all are blacking out. I'm performing. I want you to enjoy this.
Right.
But you cannot pass out in the aisle or,
yes,
you know, black out in the bathroom before the show's even started.
I had to, for the first time, kick somebody out of the show 2 weeks ago, and I hated it. But the woman chose to sit directly in front of the microphone, front row.
Right.
And she was blackout.
Yeah.
And you know how it is when you get in a groove, when you're like, you know your set.
Right.
And you know the punchlines, and you know how you like to set it up, and you're in this groove, and every 10 seconds this woman was going, and then what?
No.
And then what? And it starts throwing you off, because you know the people around her are getting annoyed. And so finally I stopped the set, and I was like, ma'am, will you please be quiet? And I hated to like dip the energy so low, because, you know, it's different in music. You just kick right into the next song and everybody's back up on their feet again.
Yeah.
In comedy, you know, you got to work that energy back up. But I was like, I need to take a minute, because she's ruining it for everybody.
And then what?
And then what? And so finally, I went to the far left of the stage to get away from her for about 20 minutes. I was like, all right, I'm going to come back and see if she's settled down. And then what? And I was like, oh my God. So I look at her and I was like, ma'am, security, please get her out. I was like, ma'am, we're going to have to remove you. Yeah. She spits in the security guard's face. And we were all just like, what
the fuck
just happened?
What city was this?
It was Indianapolis. And the crowd was incredible. She was annoying everybody around her. So when we got her out, everybody was like, thank you. Yeah. Like, you know, and I'm like, I'm sorry to have to do that, guys.
No, listen, sometimes you got to do it. I was doing a show in like Raleigh, North Carolina, and this woman just kept screaming, I want to hear about your mother. I was like, this material right now is not about my mom. She'll be on the next tour. I want to hear about your mom. What about Robin? Where's Robin? They think that I'm like keep her in the backstage in a cage like the LSU Tiger.
Right.
Like, what the fuck do you think? Robin's at home.
Right.
She's at dinner with her girlfriends at the country club. She is not my bitch, and I am not hers.
Right.
And so finally, I didn't even say anything. I was just like, all right, cool. And then I finally just go, shut the fuck up. And security came over. She started fighting with the security guard. Next thing you know, she gets arrested outside because she's throwing bows at the security. It's like a Raleigh Durham police officer. But when you get arrested in North Carolina, in the next 20 minutes, your mugshot's immediately up. So we were able to pick her in a lineup because she was a woman in full cheetah print and giant diamond earrings, just blackout, mascara running down her face.
That needs to be your poster for next year.
Honestly, truly. I mean, that is the mugshots of all the women who've gotten arrested at my shows.
Have you performed in Shreveport?
No. I mean, Baton Rouge is already fucking wild.
Girl, let me tell you about Shreveport, okay? The crowd was, first of all, amazing crowd. Like, the energy was so high. But there was several people that kind of doing the same thing, where they were just saying the same thing over and over again, you know. So when I go back to the green room after the show, the police officer comes in. And as a joke, I go, well, where the hell were you at tonight? He was like, hey, I'm real sorry. A guy died outside the venue because a guy punched him in the face with some brass knuckles. I wanted to be in there, but I was the only cop on duty in this area. And I was like, that's all right, brother. I was like, hey, no big deal. You take care of that, all right?
And it probably had no relation to your show.
No.
It was just two dudes who were fighting. They were trying to exchange something off Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
And it went awry. And Nintendo Switch went awry. And the next thing you know, they're brawling in Shreveport.
Freaking brass knuckles, dude. Punched him square in the head and killed him outside the venue.
Fuck,
And I was
comedy's
like,
hard. We're doing the best we can.
we truly are, y'all. Give us some grace.
This is why I don't Facebook Marketplace. I have a lot of wares at my house that I could be selling, but knowing me, I'd end up at an Ingles parking lot. And if y'all don't know what Ingles is, it's a very specific Southern grocery store. And I would end up having to like defend myself and tase a man over me trying to sell, some folding chairs, some Ole Miss folding chairs.
100%. And I have a problem where if I need to get out of a situation, I have to kiss the person to leave. I'd end up just be kissing everybody.
Me too.
Like, no, I literally will kiss you on the lips to get away from you, and it's only men. It's very weird. Like, I've done it like 3 times now in my life. It's just a situation where, like, one time I was on a yacht with a man that said he was the grandfather of Procter & Gamble. I should have known that Procter & Gamble wasn't one man. Anyways, we got on the yacht, and he wouldn't let me off the yacht until I kissed him. And instead of being like, no, get me off this yacht, I just kissed him real quick, and then I was able to leave.
But can I tell you, I feel like as women, especially, how old are you?
31.
Okay, women in our 30s, we all did that.
Yeah.
This younger generation knows how to say no, and they still deal with shit.
By God.
But our generation was like, okay, we're going to go tongue to tongue for exactly 20 seconds.
And we did.
And we did. And then I'm never going to tell anybody about this. You're never going to tell anybody about this. But that boat better be at the fucking dock.
But by God, I'm going off the goddamn boat.
And I'm taking the shrimp cocktail with me.
And I'm taking some beard burn.
Yeah.
Because that's what I got after that.
I feel you. I hear you on that. I have also, I think, maybe just we should all sit down. Women, I think, 30 and to like 45, I think we all need to sit down and just collectively go through the trauma that we went through.
That wasn't right. We didn't have to do that. We could have just said, sir, take me back to the goddamn dock right now.
Yeah.
And put some authoritarian, behind it.
But instead, next thing you know, I'm giving you a hand job on the Lido deck. I didn't want to.
Literally. I once gave a guy a hand job, and he was so little, it was like using a shake weight.
Yeah,
there just wasn't nothing there to it.
Listen.
And that's what I've measured a penis to my whole life.
Really?
Are they bigger than that?
They are much bigger than that.
That's good.
I mean, a shake weight's actually a pretty decent size,
well, it was just right there.
Oh, it was like jerking off with tweezers or something like that?
Like literally.
Yeah.
I was like, this can't be right if women like this.
I've seen a micro penis before.
Yeah.
And that wasn't fun. I tried not to be judgmental about it.
Right.
And I just said, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's happening here.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And they could be on top of you and you're just starfishing. You're laying there thinking, what's still open? What drive-thru's open?
Right.
What can I get?
It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Amen. No, it's not. Because the hot dog never goes down the hallway.
It
never gets into the bun.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. It's just at the edge. It's just at the edge. A lot of bread, no wiener.
A lot of bread, no wiener. That should be the name. That should be the name of your next tour.
A lot of bread, no wiener. That's a good song too.
I'm good with Brandon. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about these songs.
Yeah.
So I need to show you. They can never see the light of day, but I will show you off camera. I used to do basically like the version of Lonely Island from SNL. I used to do comedic music videos.
Oh, I can't wait.
My buddy's a big time music producer out in LA, and we grew up together. And we used to make these videos. Now I would 100% get canceled for all of it because it's I made these back in high school. But your music is so funny. How did you get into this? What was the catalyst that made you decide to be a recording artist too?
Oh man, probably moving to Nashville. Mm-hmm. You're surrounded by music. All of my friends in Nashville are all musicians. And I grew up listening to this guy that Prank Phone called Roy D. Mercer.
Oh, everybody, yes.
And I don't know why, but in my head, I always, because I listened to him on the radio, because my dad would put the cassette tapes in, I don't know why I always associated that with funny music, even though it wasn't music at all. And so when I moved there, one day I was just sitting around at a party with my friends, and I was humming. I was like, I got a dickie in my nightstand. And she goes, what'd you just say? And I told her, I was like, it's a funny idea I have in my head. And she was like, you've got to record that. So, I got set up with some incredible songwriters in Nashville that think it's really fun to be able to teeter outside the lines of just conventional music. And then I found an incredible producer named Alex, and we put out Road Hard as the first one, and
hell yeah,
it just went stupid. Like it just did so well, and I love it. Like I love writing, I love recording, I like singing, and It's really fun.
Rode hard, put away wet is, I mean, I should have had that on merch as a child. My mom would always say that. She'd be like, I'd come down the stairs, she goes, you look rode hard, put away wet. I remember thinking, this is not appropriate to say to a child.
So it is actually the saying was from horses.
And then that's what she said.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
Robin, you're from Boston.
So we had to turn it into like a boating song.
Oh, yeah.
So it's about a boat, Heather. It's not about a woman.
It's not about a woman who's been rode hard, put away wet.
No,
It's about Mastercraft 400.
Turn me on, turn me loose. That's going to be my first splurge, 100%.
Really?
It's going to be a boat. Yeah.
Can I tell you? Worst investment.
100%.
Well, as long as you're not getting a yacht. I almost bought a boat.
A boat, a pool, and probably, I guess, an airplane.
Yeah, we're way off from airplane. I know you think you're doing well right now, but we're about 20 million away from an airplane.
I agree.
People always ask me, just only because I've been touring a little bit longer, they're like, yeah, are you jet setting? I'm like, no, bitch. I had to deal with Wheels Up for one gig and the amount of dicks I had to suck to get a flight from like Pensacola, Florida to Charleston. I wouldn't have even made the show.
Right.
And you don't want to know what I had to do for that.
Right.
Okay?
What do they say? If it floats, flies, or fucks, you want to lease it.
You want to lease it, always. Yeah, but now if you get into small something like a speedboat, you're going to be good because those. I mean, you're not coming out of pocket too much for those.
I'm hoping for just like a nice 21-foot Mastercraft.
Oh fuck yeah!
And take all the platonic women that are in my life out and have a good time.
Listen, I'm a great tuber.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'll wear a helmet. I'll wear a helmet.
I won't sling you outside the way.
Please don't, because I have sciatica and a whole slew of problems.
Girl, I got you.
What about a jet ski? Are you a Sea-Doo kind of gal?
They hurt my head.
Oh.
So because of the wave hitting.
Did you learn this at the clinic?
I did.
They're like, so just so you know, you're really great at improv, but never get on a jet ski.
They're like, and don't try to do improv on a jet ski because it's not a good combo.
Oh, I thrive on a jet ski though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good to know though.
You like them titties bouncing.
I like the titties bouncing. It's a
vibe.
It's a vibe. The motion of the ocean's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm a Pisces. I need to be out in the water. I'm aquatic.
I did like riding jet skis growing up with my girlfriends, because we'd all be in our bathing suits straddling each other. It was
sliding around.
It was the one time where I just felt like I could be myself, Heather.
Be yourself. And that's actually where you're scissoring.
100%.
You are sliding. Your crotches are wet. You're kind of scissoring on a jet ski. There is nothing better.
I was like, dude, I like this.
Yeah.
Dad, we're going to take the jet ski out. He's like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, but we're going to take it out.
But Amanda's here. We're going to take it out.
We're going to take it out, Dad.
So when did you know that you were a lesbian?
When I was 8.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I knew it young, baby. I had come home from school and told my mama that I liked the girls in my class.
Oh, so you told her early.
Yeah, I didn't know what the word gay meant.
Of course.
Because it's 90s in Alabama. And and so...
Honestly, the 90s in Alabama, everything was gay.
Everything.
It was the gayest of gay.
Truly, like men going on 4-day hunting trips with other men sleeping in the same bed.
Come on.
I'm just saying. Okay, they weren't out there hunting deer.
Listen, I dated a guy in college, and this is the guy that I dated, but he didn't know that he was dating me, one of those, He would leave this good pussy to go hunting in the woods with dudes, and I used to always say, there's something a twinge homosexual about
They're
it.
100%. I feel like men are scared to say it, but I think they can find other men attractive.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
They like to sword fight a little bit when they get alone.
I mean, my husband's a big golfer. It's the gayest thing
By
ever.
God, that is so fucking gay.
So gay.
That's the gay. I mean, you're riding with your buddy for 5 hours.
Come on. In the woods?
Yeah.
Hello.
Swinging sticks.
Come on. I don't want to even,
Hitting balls.
Hitting balls, cleaning balls. And they dress up. It's the outfits. It's the gayest thing ever.
100%.
Okay, so you told mom, you're like, you came home, I like the girls in my class, and then...
She took me to conversion therapy.
Oh, fuck.
When I was 10, yeah. Yeah, I went to see a conversion therapist every week, but I did get to go to Arby's after, which is... I loved going to conversion therapy because...
Listen, nothing like going to conversion therapy and then getting some roast beef afterwards.
That's in my set. That's literally in my set. I'm like, yeah, and then Mama would take me to conversion therapy, and then we'd hit up Arby's because she knew I liked the roast beef.
Amen, sis.
Yep.
Listen, I'd fuck with some curly fries and horsey sauce. Forget it. That horseradish sauce from Arby's is top of the top.
And like, I always like going to Arby's because there's always one homeless man right before the speaker, and I'm not being funny when I say this. I really do like going through the drive-through because I don't ever have cash on me. But if I see a homeless man, which they're always at Arby's, it's nice to just pay it forward a little bit. And be like,
is.
You want a double roast beef, sir? He's like, fuck you, I'm vegetarian. I'm like, you're staying at the goddamn Arby's right now.
They have the meat, sir.
Truly.
And we know that you are a vet, and we're trying to pay it forward.
We're trying to help you out.
We're trying to help you out. Okay, wow, conversion therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, I came home one day and I told my parents I was a thespian, and they tried to send my ass to conversion therapy, but they just desperately did not want me to be in the arts. My dad was like, listen, I'm in the mortgage biz. Like, it's not, you're never going to make it kind of vibes.
Okay, so kind of same
thing, but it's not because of who I loved. It's because what I loved to do. You know, they were like, I said, can I do this clown? I wanted to do this Cirque du Soleil contortionism clown dancing thing. They had this thing that I could go to Quebec and do, and they were like, you're a fucking idiot.
And he was like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Mine was you can think about robbing the bank, but you can't rob the bank.
Fuck.
And I always thought about robbing that damn bank.
So that's what they said in that. They're like, you can think about it, but as long as you don't act on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was an Auburn fan, so it makes sense. He always had an Auburn mug, and I never liked that about him. But
can I tell you?
Yeah.
Auburn men?
Yeah. They're gay.
They're gay.
That's the gayest of them all.
Out of all the SEC, I would say the Auburn men, usually the gayest.
You know the hottest ones?
Who?
Mississippi State. And I'm sorry to say that because I know you're Ole Miss. But
no.
The jeans they wear, the boots they wear, the hats they wear.
They all have a little mullet.
They all have a little dirt underneath their fingernails.
I dated a KA from Mississippi State, and I don't know why. I kept clinging on to this guy who went to Ole Miss who was not attractive at all. He was not my boyfriend. I thought he was. And I let the good one from Mississippi State go.
They're good folks over there.
They are good folks.
They're rougher on the edges, but in a good way.
In a great way.
Yeah, I really like Mississippi as a state.
Well,
I
own a home there, and I do love Oxford.
Yeah.
But you get outside, and there are some days where you go, what are we doing here?
I went through Mississippi during March of the pandemic of 2020. Hell, they didn't have a pandemic there.
No, hell no.
I was in the gas station. I could see everybody's teeth for the first time, and I was like, y'all know we got shit going on right now in the country.
Not
here we don't.
I have such a soft place in my heart for Mississippi, and my husband and I were just driving back from Mississippi yesterday, and he's like, God, I really love it here. And I'm like, it's great people. But then you deal with the other side of it, and it's hard being a Southerner where you try and justify. Like I talk about this in my special. I'm like, listen, I want to be a great representation of a strong Southern woman, right? But there's also so much backwoods shit that we got to figure out.
I know, like I'm filming a music video at a strip club in Alabama in a couple weeks, and when I send the extras their email of like what to expect that day, I have to say, please do not wear any Confederate flag stuff. And my buddy who plays guitar for me, he's like, I don't think you need to say that. And I'm like, no, I have to say that because it says in the title, dress Southern.
Yeah.
I was like, and we can't have 20 people wearing damn Confederate flags.
Yeah, we want overalls. We maybe want a seersucker or some Madras shorts. There's different levels of Southern.
Right.
I was in the Grove this past weekend, and somebody put up and this is what sucks because Ole Miss has come so far, and it's the coolest place ever. But then you have one asshole who puts up like it was a Confederate pride flag, and I literally
a Confederate pride flag.
Yes, but no, sorry, it was like pride of the no, sorry, it wasn't a Confederate like gay pride. I'm so sorry.
Like, wait, they made those?
It was like Pride of the South. And it was a Confederate flag. And Jeff, my husband and I are both looking at each other and we're going, what the fuck? And everybody was annoyed by it. Everybody had something to say about like, what the fuck is this shit?
I know.
But yeah, one guy was like, I've been tailgating at the University of Mississippi since 1942. And damn it, I'm putting my flag up.
And you're like, brother.
Yeah.
Listen.
What are we doing here?
Put it in your living room. By all means, put it in your living room. But let's not make people feel bad because they want to come, hang out with the rebels.
How great would it be, though, if there was a Confederate pride flag?
I know people that fucking hang that shit up.
It's like, I suck so much dick, but the South will rise again. It's like Dave Chappelle's character who was in the Ku Klux Klan. What was the character's name?
Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah, Clayton Bigsby.
The black white supremacist. My God, ain't nothing wrong with slobbing a knob. All right. But we will come back from this shit. I'm like, fellas, listen. There's two teams. Mm-hmm. And y'all finished last. I love the Southern culture. I love the pride in the Southern culture. and like even when I graduated high school, which was 2011, like all the guys had Confederate flags on their trucks. And, you know, if you ask them, to them, it's about being Southern.
Yeah.
But I'm like, let's do a buck sticker on the back.
Yeah.
Instead, that so we don't make people feel like shit because we want to put that out there, you know?
But also, we have to give ourselves a little bit of grace, or at least give those guys grace. Like, when you were in college 20 years ago, it really was about being Southern.
It was about being
Southern.
Southern.
And of course, then we all did a light Google search and said, so it's layered,
Right.
and actually,
Right.
we need a pivot.
Right.
But yeah, nowadays, if you're like in 2024, you're like, guys, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, because even some of the black guys that I went to high school with that were super Southern and country, they leaned into it too because, like you said, it embodied, like, do you remember that brand called Dixie Outfitters?
Yes, of course.
Their logo had Confederate flags all over it. And a lot of the black guys in my high school wore those T-shirts. But like you said, once it starts becoming a little controversial, it's like, let's just swap it over to something else, guys.
The new Mississippi State flag is beautiful.
Right.
Has a giant magnolia plant in the middle. It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. We love it. It's
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes.
Dude, there is nothing hotter than a Southern black guy in a pair of Carhartts and boots with like a couple dead ducks in a trunk.
My buddy Pierre is that.
Oh,
He is,
talk about it.
Is
That's
that.
my type, actually.
He's in my He's going to be in my music video this upcoming week. He's playing my husband, and I'm telling you, the way that man dresses, it starts jeans that you can stand them up on the legs and they don't fall over. The nicest, like $2,000 pair of boots.
Yeah.
Pearl snap and a beautiful Stetson with about 3 gold chains.
Ooh. Like Shabuzi does it for me.
He does.
You know, there's something about it. He's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's real hot.
I agree.
What if you pivot from gals for a little bit and you start dating these
Southern black men.
Southern black men, just hot.
I'd give my mom heart attack 2.0. Mom would be like, well, God damn it, I was finally getting into that queer shit. 6 more years, we're not talking. No,
Or, you know what? This older generation, I know that my empathy will be the death of me because I really try and understand why people act the way they do. But it is probably a way that I get taken advantage of. And I know you're empathetic because I think a lot of people in comedy are very empathetic.
I agree.
But there are some days where you just go, guys, what the fuck are we doing? Aren't you exhausted by being bothered? Being bothered all the time, it just takes too much fucking energy.
I know.
I don't want to be bothered. I already look in the mirror and want to get my neck done. Like, let me live, bitch.
I know. And my friend, she's very political, and I'm a lot like with my Instagram comments. I have to, and this is probably unhealthy or not good for the country that I'm not partaking, but I have to just have my head in the sand because if I don't, I get so worked up about it.
Yeah.
I have to like remove myself from it.
Yeah.
You know, and mostly for my own mental like health, you know, but she really wants me to like be bothered about certain things. Like, this affects you directly. Be bothered. And I'm like, I understand, but at the same time, I know I get so worked up and I go down this spiral of just toxicity in my own mind that
You're already dealing with some heavy shit too, okay?
that's true.
You're dealing with some heavy shit. Like,
true.
it is what it is. But I hear you. I mean, listen, when it comes to politics, you know, people say, like, well, it's about policies. Well, the policies affect people. You know, who I care about are people. So that's why I was trying to remind people. I'm like, yeah, this is why this is important to me,
Right.
because I care about people.
Right.
You know, listen, we know the woman who was in the front row going, and then what? We know that her spank bank is filled with pictures of J.D. Vance.
100%.
We already know that. You know it, and I know it.
Yes, J.D. Vance, his Joe Rogan. You have to listen to it, Heather.
Oh, God,
no,
I
you
don't
have
have
to,
it in me.
But just make you some popcorn and watch it.
Meanwhile, you got Trump coming out. I literally said, who is on the glam squad? There was the other day, it was full melt. And do you remember when Rudy Giuliani a couple years ago had all the black hairspray that was melting down while he was in court?
Yes.
And now Trump has it's like gold just melting down the side of the face.
But
It's not blended.
He missed it right there.
It's bad. Yeah. Listen, this is at the end of the day, this is why people should come to your comedy shows, because nothing fucking matters anymore. We got about 40 good days left. How many more tour dates do you have by the end of the year?
I have 5 more.
Okay.
I believe we're coming to Atlanta.
Oh, hell yeah. Where are you playing in Atlanta?
It's going to be at Center Stage.
Oh, great
High Point. We're going to hit up New Orleans,
yeah.
Hattiesburg, and then finish at the Alabama Theater in Birmingham.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
And then you're still touring next year as well.
Yeah,
Where
next
can
year-
everybody find you, Danae? You're so incredibly funny.
DanaeHays.com has all of my tour dates. So
Great.
DANAEHAYS.
And I do, before we end, because I mean, listen, the Absolutely Not podcast, what we've talked about, plenty of Absolutely Nots, but I really believe in like manifesting and like vision boards. So what do you want to see on your vision board for next year?
I want to put out a full-length country comedy album.
Listen, if you need anybody to pop in, I'll do a bridge.
I
I'll do
would
a chorus. I'm a decent singer.
Heather, I would love that.
baritone
Bitch, I would. You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
And I'm getting my neck done, so I'll come in with a new neck.
Come in with your old neck, new neck. I don't care. I would love to do, because the Grand Ole Opry has a ton of roots in comedy.
Yeah.
So I'd love to have a Grand Ole Opry debut of like a 10-minute comedy set. That'd be, oh my God, I would love
That's
that.
going to happen. Because you said it here first on the Absolutely Not podcast.
Yes.
Danae, where can everybody find you?
DanaeHays.com or Danae Hays on Instagram, TikTok.
Perfect.
Facebook's probably not my best bet because there's so many fake accounts out there now, Heather.
Oh, wait. Before you go, you have to tell everybody, what is this scam account? Just so if you get a DM from this scam account, Danae is not selling barbecue. Now, I said my dream is to actually open a barbecue place
Right.
because I really like barbecue sides. I don't even really like the meat.
Right.
But continue.
Okay, so somebody out there has a fake Facebook account with like 200,000 followers. I have one, but that's not it. And they are luring people onto WhatsApp and onto PayPal, and they are trying to tell people that Danae is selling barbecue, and people are paying $240 for a plate of barbecue. Look, I know that sounds like me. I'd love to do that one day. That's not me, though. So stop sending me money on PayPal.
Stop. Don't do it. And don't request on me on Venmo for fucking things. I'm getting a pap smear on Tuesday. Need $200.
Literally.
No, I'm not doing it.
It happens to me all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, I love y'all. When did I become the damn bank?
When did I become the damn bank?
I don't know.
I don't know. You know what? You got to get your MasterCraft. Once she gets her MasterCraft and pays her taxes,
I'll pay your pap
then
smear.
we'll pay for the pap
I'd
smears.
love to help you with your lady parts.
Yeah,
so.
that's the least you could do. It's been great scissoring with you today. Thank you for being here. As always, you guys can call into the hotline 800-213-7503. Wow, just stroked out real quick. But thank you for being here, Danae. And y'all follow her on tour. Go see a show. I mean, you're just so incredibly talented. And I'm
Heather.
so glad we had a giggle today. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Ciao, Bella. Arrivederci.